Hello, Tashi Delek. Welcome back to Dharma Snacks. Over the past weeks, we have discussed on the ways to cultivate the mindfulness of death. As you recall, there are three main points: that the time that the death is certain, the time of death is uncertain, and at the time of death, nothing helps except Dharma practice. So in order to support these three statements, there are three reasons provided. And we have already looked at the first two statements and the six supporting reasons. So today we are going to look at the final statement, which is that at the time of death, nothing helps except Dharma practices. So there are three reasons to support this statement. The first one is family and friends cannot help. We spend most of our time supporting our family and friends. We have this particular group of people whom we label them as our loved ones or our friends, our family, whom we develop attachment and whom we perceive as a group of people to be protected. And in their name, we engage in all kinds of activities. We engage in all kinds of negative actions. In Tibetan, it is called Dadul Nyenjong, to destroy or defeat our enemies and to protect our loved ones. So we may have over the years, we may have made new friends. Our family members may have increased. The circle, the group of people that we develop attachment to may have increased in number. But when the time comes, can they be of any help? The Lamrim says here, none of them can help us, no matter how many friends and family we have amassed. No matter how powerful some of the people in your circle of loved ones, we have to leave them behind. As we came in this world alone, we must leave alone as well. So the analogy given is the way we pull out a strand of hair from a butter. If you pull out a strand of hair, not even an iota of butter sticks or gets stuck on that strand of hair. Likewise, we have to go alone, leaving everybody behind. No matter how great teacher you are, how many followers you have, no matter how great a leader you are, how much powerful you are, how many family members you have to go alone. When the time comes, it is only you who needs to make the journey. And all the negative actions that we have committed in the name of our loved ones, nobody will share the fruits or the consequences of that negative karma. Only we alone have to bear the responsibility or the ramification. And how about the resources? How about the wealth? How about the money that we enslave ourselves to amassing? We dedicate most of our time chasing after money. We sacrifice our time serving our elderly parents. We sacrifice our time spending with our young children. But at the end, when the time comes, can they be of any help? Can your bank balance, millions of dollars in your bank account, will help us when the final moment comes and thereafter? Can our big house, can our big houses be of any use? Can our cars that we boastfully show off, that we have spent hundreds of dollars, such as Mercedes, BMW, can they be of any use? The answer is no. Nothing helps, no matter how hard we have worked for that wealth, that property, that material gain. We have to leave behind. We don't have the authority or freedom to carry even one penny with us. And even the body, our own body, that we treasured so much, that we take good care, that we have treated it like more like a wish fulfilling jewel. We treasured it so much. We defended it all the time. If anybody hurls an insult or criticizes or harms this body, we get enraged. We fight. We defend this body. We treasure this body. But when the time comes, even our very much treasured body kind of betrays us. It abandons us. We have no freedom just to leave it behind, the way a traveler or a guest leaves the hotel room behind. We may check into a 5-star hotel with all kinds of facilities, but when the time comes to check out, we have to check out. We cannot bring along that room, no matter how luxurious it is. So likewise, when the time comes, our consciousness has to say bye-bye to our body. We have to depart. We have to separate. Our consciousness has to separate from this body. So our family and friends cannot help, our resources, our fame, our power, nothing can help, and even our body, we have to leave it behind. Look at this picture. Elon Musk, whose net worth at the moment is $229.1 billion. We cannot even imagine how much that would be. If we were to convert all that amount into $1 bill, it would fill up the whole world. On the next picture, underneath him, is a homeless person. You can see that he has nothing, just a stack of newspaper which he uses as his pillow. His bank balance would be zero, and he survives on the daily generosity of people. Despite that stark difference, when the time comes, they have to board the same ship on which you cannot carry anything. You have to board that ship empty-handed. So that's why here it says, a king goes leaving behind his kingdom. A beggar goes leaving his stuff. Beggar has his precious possession is supposedly that stick to ward off dogs when he goes for alms, when he goes begging for food. Tibetan houses tend to have dogs, so he needs to have a stick to defend himself from those dogs. So that would be his most precious possession. So when death comes, he has to leave that behind. But a king, he has to leave behind his kingdom, his palace, his entourage, his people. So, in other words, no matter how powerful you are, how wealthy you are, how handsome and beautiful you are, when death comes, nothing helps. The only thing that helps at the time of death and beyond is one's Dharma practice. That's why Kundang Tembe Dömis puts it this way. Dharma is the guide to the undeceiving path. Lam Kumeji Sajin Shins. If we need to travel to an unknown place, a destination that we are unfamiliar, we need to rely on a guide. We need to rely on someone who has been there to guide us. Likewise, Dharma is the guide. Dharma is the one that guides us on our way to the next destination, on our journey to next life. If we don't have that guide, if we don't have that Dharma practice, there is no way we will get to our desired journey. Even if we get to some destination, it may turn out to be something dangerous, something undesirable. So if we want to travel safely and to get to our desired destination, then we need to get a guide, in this case, our Dharma practice. And it says, Dharma supplies you for the long trek. If we need to make a long journey, and if there are no hotels that we can rest and eat, we need to backpack. We need to pack ourselves something to eat on our way. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. We would be hungry and thirsty. Like the supply that we need for the long journey, we need virtues, we need Dharma practice to embark on the journey to the next life. Without that, we cannot get to our desired destination. And it says, Dharma is your captain on the difficult journey. If we are journeying to some destination, some island by ship, we need to rely on a captain. If we board a ship without a captain, then we may bump into something else, or the ship may capsize. So Dharma is like the captain of a ship. We need to cultivate that so that we don't get lost in the middle of the sea. So for all these reasons, for the above reasons, Dharma Rinpoche says that from this moment, practice Dharma with your three doors. So because that Dharma is the only thing that can help us at the time of death, and beyond that, we need to commit our time to practicing Dharma. We need to engage our three doors, body, speech, and mind, to doing virtue, engaging in wholesome actions of body, wholesome actions of speech, and wholesome actions of mind. So we need to come to the conclusion that since at the time of death nothing helps except Dharma practice, I must practice Dharma only. At the moment, we have so many other important things that takes priority, that takes over our Dharma practice. We always put Dharma practice to the last. If we were to prepare a list, doing Dharma practice would appear at the last end of the paper, end of our list. But here, now that we know that other worldly things are useless, insignificant, when the time comes, we need to commit our time. We need to make some big changes. So at the moment, as a lay person, it is impossible to dedicate or commit all our time to Dharma practice. However, we can do something. We can at least increase our time of Dharma practice. At the moment, if you are spending, let's say, 5% of your time to Dharma practice, then at least increase it that by another 5%, so that you can at least spend 10% of your time to Dharma practice. In terms of hours, if you spend half an hour in your Dharma practice at the moment, then try to increase that to 1 hour by another half an hour, so that you will commit 1 hour every day doing Dharma practice. So if we are able to do that, then we can increase more. Now that you have increased that by 5%, but later you can increase some more, and then there will come a time whereby you are able to spend 50% of your time to Dharma practice. That would be wonderful. By spending or committing 50% of your time may not bring great realizations. Of course, it would be desired. But even if it doesn't bring any, solid or visible realization, at least when the time comes, we will not have regret. We can confidently say that at least I have no regret. I have spent 50% of my life or my time to Dharma practice. Many people die with so much regret. People die at the time of death. I shouldn't have wasted my time. I should have spent more time. That's too late. So, in summary, upon reflection, upon contemplating on the various points, we have to come to these 3 conclusions. First, that since death is definite, since we will die sooner or later, we must decide that we need to practice Dharma. And once you have made that decision, you have to make the decision that I must practice Dharma right away. There is no time for me to wait for optimal time, ideal time. There is no time that is suitable for Dharma practice, because the time of death is uncertain. Death can come any time. I can die any time. So I cannot afford to procrastinate. I cannot afford to put Dharma practice behind others. I cannot say that I will practice Dharma after I finish this and that. So we have to make this decision that not only I will practice Dharma, I will practice Dharma right away. So on top of that, we have to make the decision that I will practice Dharma only. I will try my best to spend as much time as possible to Dharma practice, because Dharma is the only thing. The virtuous practice that we engage while we are alive is the only thing that can help us at the time of death and beyond that. So I hope you will try your best to do so, to commit your time, to increase your Dharma time. And if you are able to do that, then it serves the purpose of tuning into these Dharma talks. Thank you.